Welcome to Eldoret town. This is one of the biggest towns in Kenya. Actually, Eldoret was supposed to be named a city in 2022. It was to be named the fourth city in Kenya, but this title was given to Nakuru after several comparisons and several measures were taken into consideration. So it's waiting to become the fifth largest city in Kenya, or should I say it's waiting to be named a city. Now, Eldoret is a home to athletes. Many athletes find Eldoret a suitable training ground. Some of the world-renowned athletes call Eldoret a training ground, and a good number of them comes from the neighboring communities because of its high altitude. It's actually the highest placed city in Kenya in terms of height above sea level. This makes it a good training ground. Of course, we know very well that athletes love highly raised places because it gives them a conducive environment for training. And some of the investments in these towns are as a result of the proceeds received from running. So many runners choose to invest in Eldoret because that is probably their, let's say, the nearby city. Yes, they come from the local areas, so they will prefer to invest in Eldoret town. Now, the name Eldoret is a Maasai word. The name Eldoret is a Maasai word from the Sosiani River, which means stony river. Now, you should not be surprised because many towns in Kenya are named after the Maasais. I don't know why, but we all know that Maasais were pastoralists. They were moving from one place to another in search of greener pasture. And Eldoret is one of their settlements areas in those days when they were still active pastoralists. Nakuru was also named after the Maasai. Nairobi was also named after Maasai word. Naivasha was also named after Maasai word. So it simply means that Maasais are not getting enough recognition for their contributions in the history and geography of this country. They have contributed a lot to the geography and history of Kenya, just by the fact that they were moving from one place to another, naming those towns and moving to another. In fact, they settled in Eldoret before the arrivals of the Kalenjins. The Maasai settled in Eldoret before the arrival of Kalenjins. So Eldoret is a serious economic hub, is a big economic hub, and the fifth largest town in Kenya. And its population is approximately 475,000. That is according to the 2019 census. That was a close to 100% increase. That was close to a 100% increase from the 2009 census when the population was 250,000 inhabitants. Now, this town is basically a big town and has almost all the amenities that somebody may need. It's also an educational center. We all know, or let's say it houses more universities and some of its major campuses. It also houses several industries, textile industries, and so many others. However, most of its industries are agricultural based, owing to the fact that it is built on Kenya's bread basket. The surrounding areas are large, or should I say, fertile economic spots, fertile agricultural spots. As you move around the town, you see how much it has changed. See that it has developed, it has become bigger, population has increased, and it is one of the fastest growing towns in Kenya. It's also very clean. There are no litters around, like you will see in other bigger towns. Now, the name 64 was given by the white settlers who arrived in Eldoret some years back. That is, the settlers were from South Africa, and they came by sea and rail. So when they arrived in Eldoret, they settled in that place. And the main reason why it's called 64 is because it was situated 64 miles. 64 miles from River Sosiani. So the locals could not understand the meaning of 64. They didn't know how to spell that 64. So they will refer to it as Sisibo. Sisibo. Yeah, probably due to issues of accent, and a good number of them did not know why it was called 64 and could not even pronounce that 64. So we've heard of the 64 Stadium. We've heard of Eldoret being referred to as 64 several times. It's simply because it is situated 64 miles from River Sosiani. So these and other towns are an indication of how Kenya is quickly becoming urbanized. By 2030, the projection is that half of Kenyans will be living in urban centers. Yes, many people are leaving their rural areas for urban centers. Eldoret is also an ICT center. It is also an ICT center. Now, Kenya's telecommunication company, Kenya's telecommunication giant Safaricom, probably the biggest telecommunication company in East Africa, built a call center in Eldoret, the second largest call center in the country in Eldoret. It's also the largest call center outside Nairobi, and employs close to 1,000 people directly, including students on interns. So Eldoret is advancing, the economy of this country is advancing, the investments in agriculture is also increasing, and we expect the population of this town to grow, and sooner or later it will be named a city. Anyway, it deserves. Nakuru is a city, and there's a small difference between Nakuru and Eldoret in terms of economic activities, in terms of urbanization, in terms of other several parameters. So it is just right that it is named a city as soon as possible, and hopefully the current president will name Eldoret a city we won't live without doing that. We can bet on that. So enjoy the ride, enjoy what you see. And if you are looking for an urban place with a cool environment, the cool climate, cool atmosphere, then this is the place to be, or should I say this is a good option. The climate here is, should I say, it's not hot, it's basically cold, and it is suitable for agriculture. The areas around are suitable for agriculture. It's also a mid-sized city, or should I say a mid-sized town, and the cost of living is basically cheap because of the agricultural products from the surrounding environment. So it is good option for people or somebody who is looking for a place to settle and start life. Thank you.